Hey world, this is Jamie, host of the Jamie and Genty Show, broadcasting live each week on Tuesday at 12 p.m. from Fishbowl Studios. Log on to hear sports talk from basketball to football and view your feedback on the biggest sports news you want to talk about from around the world. So be sure to log on each week Tuesdays at 12 p.m. to catch the Jamie and Genty Show. Hope to see you soon
on Fishbowl Radio Network.
Jump in.
Welcome to the Beyond the Game podcast on Fishbowl Radio. My name is Jamie. It's Tuesday, April the 1st, 2025. How's everyone doing out there? Good? That's good. Now, welcome, because we got our Final Four set in the men's and women's side. And so we're going to break that down today. But first, let's start off with some monologue. So I did not get this information till last week. I was wondering why UNT men's basketball was playing a game in Stillwater, Oklahoma last Tuesday to be exact. And so I was trying to figure out why. Why were they playing at Stillwater last week? Now, they told you 2 days before that game that they had to move the game to Stillwater because there was a schedule conflict. Okay, well, I found this out on Facebook from somebody that went to UNT that said it was a luncheon at UNT, okay? And that's probably why Ross Hodge left. Ross Hodge got the West Virginia job because Warren Baker used to be the AD for UNT, and he didn't bring much success to UNT than before. Look at West Virginia right now. Look at their football team. Look at their basketball team. They lost not only their football coach, they regained Rich Rodriguez, but they lost their basketball coach as well. And now Ross Hodge is going to be the new West Virginia men's basketball coach either after this game or after the NIT championship game. Either way it goes, he's leaving UNT. And he's leaving UNT on good terms. Not great terms, good terms. Because in 2 seasons, Ross Hodge was able to win 44 games or 45 games. Now, you move this game from Denton to Stillwater and giving Oklahoma State a home game, which they don't deserve. This is supposed to be 3 straight days at the Super Pit. It goes to my point of last week. Why do y'all invest so much money in the football program versus the basketball program? You don't do nothing for us. We win 25-plus games a year, and then yet we only get crap. But yet the luncheon is important. Listen, I went to UNT. I know how big the university is. You can place the luncheon. You can move the luncheon from the Super Pit to the Union. Better yet, when I was there, when I was there last? I was there back in 2021. That's the last time I went. When I was there in 2020, well, actually, I was there last year. Last year or a year and a half ago, whatever the case may be. I went to the Union, and it was a complete 180. You had stairs, you had fast food places. It felt like a mall at the Union. You could have moved that luncheon that y'all had to the Union or any other place on campus to accommodate the basketball game for that night. But instead, the team goes from Denton to Stillwater and actually wins in Stillwater. And so that's why I'm saying Ross Hodge is leaving because UNT does not have greater resources. It's a UNT basketball has been a stepping stone for coaches like Grant McCaslin and Ross Hodge. Both of those men have won games at UNT. That's why when we hire a coach at UNT or a player for that matter, they want to go accelerate their brand elsewhere. Ross Hodge, even though it's not the best job in the world, he's going to win at West Virginia. Grant McCasland has already done that. Grant McCasland, you're telling me that Grant McCasland was like 10 seconds away from getting to the Final Four? He took that Tech job. He took that Tech job because this man has basketball knowledge for days, for months, for years. They love his coaching. UNT will never get there because of the resources that is there right now. And every coach wants to win, but yet it's like it comes with a cost. You got to keep players there. You got to go after the high-profile players. You got to get the resources done so that players and coaches don't leave. They don't leave for bigger and better opportunities. I don't think West Virginia is a great opportunity in my eyes. West Virginia basketball has not won, and I'm talking about the men's side. Like Ross is going to recruit his ass off, yeah, of course. But at the same time, why am I going? I would have rather took the job at Texas versus West Virginia if I'm Ross Hodge. That's bigger in Austin than it is in Morgantown. And so there's probably another reason why he's leaving. But, you know, I wish Ross Hodge nothing but the best. Grant McCasland, you know, did wonders at UNT. And, you know, we're not even going to talk about Tony Benford because his was crap. Like, to me, that was the worst 5 years I ever endured. And before that was Johnny Jones. Johnny Jones was he was in and out to me. That's my former coach. He was in and out. He was not the best coach I ever seen or I ever heard of, but he's still a great man. And so, to me, you can't use UNT as a stepping stone because the resources are not there. And I expect at some point Jared Mosley has to understand that coaches are leaving they're not even staying for their third season. They're not. They're not going to. They won't be. They're not staying at UNT for more than 2 seasons. The success that those 2 men have had, there will be people lining up to hire their asses. Texas Tech did it. West Virginia did it. Warren Baker said, I need a successful coach, and Watts Charles was it. Even though Warren Baker did nothing for us, he got both Rich Rodriguez and Ross Hodge. Now West Virginia's, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Now let's get to the Final Four. Now this Final Four is going to be there's all number 1 seeds in the Final Four. There's nobody better. Sorry, there's no number 1. There's a number 1 seed. There's number 1 seeds in the Final Four, but there is no. Yeah, I'm sorry. What am I trying to say? There's no lesson than that. I think the basketball was dominated by the quality of play. You know, I think Florida has the best team in all the lands. Duke too, Auburn, Houston, all of them are different. Duke has both defense and offense. Houston, they rely on their defense. Florida, they have the seven of the best players play on that team. Then Auburn, they have that gritty, nasty defense that gets into your face. And they got the best player, and they got one of the 2 best players in all college basketball, and Johnny Broome. Cooper Flagg is number 1, but Johnny Broome is number 2. He's not that far behind. So let's start with Florida versus Auburn. Like I said, Florida has 7 great players on that team with NBA talent. Walter Clayton Jr. is one of them. He went for 30 points against Texas Tech. He hit the game-winning shot. This man hit a shot when he was in the paint. He got the ball in the paint. Could have scored. He could have scored. And then he took 5 steps back to shoot a three, and he made it. And that gave Florida the lead for good. Texas Tech was up by double digits. I think it was like 7 or 8 minutes remaining in the game. And then Florida was able to turn that around and go on their run. And so now he hits that three, all the momentum is on Florida's side at that moment. And that's why Florida won the game. Florida's not good defensively. They have their spurts, but I'm telling you, Walter Clayton Jr. is one of the best I ever seen coming out of Florida. Ever since Mike Miller. But I'm not their games are not the same. They even try to compare Walter Clayton Jr. to Steph. I seen it. The only thing that Clayton has over Steph is length. I think Walter Clayton Jr. is longer than Steph is. And so Elijah Martin and Thomas Hogg are different makers. And then Ruben Chinegu anchors their defense. He's a 6'10" from Nigeria. Can block shots, can defend the rim. That's their interior defense. They cut off drives, and like I said, that's the anchor of their defense. They're aggressive. Their guards are aggressive. They can finish the line first, meaning that they'll finish in transition once their guards get the ball, get the steal, and finish on the break. Auburn has 3 quality guards in Chad Baker, Mazzaro, Denver Jones, and Tihar Pettiford. Johnny Bruin had 25 points and 14 rebounds against Michigan State. And I told you that he's one of the best in this draft, in this NBA draft coming this summer. I think he'll be the best power forward in this draft. I told you Cooper Flagg is the best. But if Cooper Flagg does not come out, what does that say about Johnny Broome? Because nobody's watching Johnny Broome dominate. Johnny Broome has dominated this NCAA tournament. And then their depth is key to success. Even though they play 3 guys, it's solid. Bruce Pearl knows this team. They defend the pick and roll well. They have the best pick and roll defense I ever seen in my life. You talk about having the roller, having the backside help take care of the roller, and having either Broome come up or the other guy, Dylan Gardner, come up and push the guard outside of his comfort zone in order for the big man to come back. So in order to defend the pick and roll, it's all about communication. You got to be able to send that point guard up the floor. That's how you take rhythm off the pick and roll. You got to score in the 70s. This game, Florida and Auburn, they score in the 70s, except that was Auburn. Auburn can defend you. Auburn can defend you. So if Florida may have averaged 70 to 80 points in the regular season, if you're in a dogfight with Auburn, I'm choosing Auburn. I told someone last week, I said, I'm choosing Auburn for this game. Auburn will score 70 points, but Florida, you could take 10 to 20 points off their average. Auburn's going to cut everything off. And Bruce Pearl is more experienced than Todd Golden is. Nothing against Todd Golden, I think, but Bruce Pearl is more experienced in this situation. They got to shoot 40%. That's on Auburn. Auburn's got to shoot more than 40% to win. So those guards that get down the lane, those guards that kick out, they don't have 3-point shooters. Their guards make all the plays, and they shoot threes. Their guards do not. They don't have a spot 3-point shooter like Florida does. Auburn Auburn takes that away, and so with Auburn, you don't want to be in a dogfight with them for 40 minutes because they're going to win that dogfight with their depth and Bruce Pearl's knowledge to the game. So So take it for what it is. I'm choosing Auburn for this game because of their gritty defense and their guard play is really up to date. I think they're going to make Walter Clayton Jr. uncomfortable. I think if you see Walter Clayton Jr. shoot under 40% in this game, the guards are the reason why, or the box one that they all go with, or building a wall that they will go with as well, taking everything away. So, and then Duke versus Houston. This is number 2. Duke scores 80 points plus. Okay, they can beat you in any way possible. Duke can beat you both ends of the court. Alabama hit 25 threes against BYU. Now, BYU is not a good defensive team. They got some good offensive numbers. That score, 113-88 in the Sweet 16, that felt like an NBA game. The way Auburn was shooting, not Auburn, Alabama was shooting threes from top to bottom, wherever they got them, that didn't come against Duke. They only got off 32 attempts for three, and they made only 8 of them. So Alabama's game plan sucked because Alabama couldn't get to double-digit threes against a solid defense in Duke. So in order for you to beat Duke, you have to change your game. And I was mad at Alabama because Alabama could have done that. But they didn't. They relied too much on the outside shot. That's when Nate Oates didn't have any play calling. He didn't have any plays left. You're talking about was 14 minutes left in the game. He said, I don't have any plays left if y'all are not willing to stop Duke on the offensive end. So they weren't getting stops. That's why Alabama lost by 20 points. When you fall in love with the three, do you see the results? You're not going to hit 25 threes against Duke. You're just not. BYU didn't defend that game. They didn't defend that game. Duke did. Cooper Flagg went 16 points and 9 rebounds against Duke. That's not 9 against Duke. Against Alabama. Colin Knipple, 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. Tyrese Proctor, 17 points and 5 rebounds. Those two players, I wish, well, except for Tyrese Proctor, I told y'all a couple weeks back, I said Tyrese Proctor will need to stay there next season to improve his overall game. He can be in the top 10 if he would have stayed next season. But I'm not going to make this decisions for these players because these players are good at making their decisions. So I'm not going to make the decisions for them. Me personally, I would like to see Tyrese take another step, staying in Duke, evaluating and developing his game into numerous heights. Am I going to get that? Remains to be seen. Colin Knipple looks like he's ready, but he's always making plays on the fly. He's always making plays when it counts. Spacing. Duke is phenomenal at spacing. They take away the post play and mid-range jump shots. They take everything away. They take the mid-range drives away as well. And then Houston loves the mid-range game. I'm not sure. It's going to be a battle between the mid-range shots. I'm not necessarily if I'm looking at this game from the three-point range, I choose Duke over Houston. But then again, Houston knows how to defend defend all aspects of the court. So I do see that this game will be in the low 60s. It'll be the race to 70. I don't think Duke will get to 70 this game. But with Houston wants to play 50 to 60 points. L.J. Cryer has 17 points and 7 rebounds against Tennessee, but he has struggled with his jump shot. You know, when you go 8 for 19 or 8 for 21 or 7 for 19, you're still struggling with your shot. I think he will get it in this game, but then again, Duke is good defensively as well. Duke Duke is anchored on the back end, even though they have good perimeter play on the defensive side. They're anchored by the two big men. One of them comes on the bench, one of them starts. Emmanuel Shabba is another. He's a shooter. He had 16 points against Tennessee. The issue with him will be create some shots. Duke is going to be there on every catch. You got to build the wall on Cooper Flagg. Cooper Flagg is not going to go. I was surprised if Cooper Flagg goes for 30 this game. I don't think he will. I think Houston will build a wall for him to get him out of his rhythm, and then get out to shooters. You got to get out to Duke shooters, and then you got to dominate the paint. Like I said, Duke has two big men that really dominate the paint really well. I'm interested to see if Houston can be able to get majority of their points in the paint, but that remains to be seen. So I told y'all that Auburn will win. Again, this game will be in the high 50s to low 60s. I see Duke winning this game by a point. I don't trust Houston enough to match up well with Duke, but I do think Duke will win this game by a point. I'm not saying that Duke will win this by we'll get 76% chance to win. I'm not that type of guy, but I do think if I was a betting person, I'll choose Duke 51% over Houston 49% in this game. And so I don't believe in ESPN's numbers. And I think Duke, and honestly, I will say this again: Duke will win. So you got Auburn versus Duke for the national championship next Monday, and we'll recap the national championship game next week. Number 3, UNT's new coach and the UNT versus UC Irvine preview tonight. The NIT semifinal has UNT versus UC Irvine. UNT, they have to play focus. I know that the distraction of losing their coach is going to be key. It's going to be huge. Guard play has to come for them. Antel Wright has to come through tonight. It's his night. Brennan Lauren has to be another person that comes on the bench and plays his heart out. Can they play faster? Can North Texas push the pace in transition? They can actually be a transition team, but can they play in transition? And they gotta stay connected defensively and play strong. So I don't hear of much about UC Irvine. I didn't watch majority of their games. The one game that I watched, was yesterday, and it was I think it was a conference game in their conference. I didn't see much against UC Irvine. Only thing is they have a 7-footer that can really dominate the paint. But again, UNT takes that away. They take everything that you're comfortable of away. I'll be very surprised if UNT loses this game. I'll be very surprised. UNT does not score a lot of points on offense. But defensively, they will take everything away, and they will force you to uncomfortable spots. And in this game, they'll do that as well. Number 4, other college basketball news on the men's side. Kevin Willard has taken the job at Villanova. So Maryland has to find a new coach. Now, Kevin Willard has lied to us. He lied. He lied because you weren't thinking about this. You weren't thinking about your next steps after the game. You clearly were. It wasn't a shock that you took this Villanova job instead of staying in Maryland. You have security in Maryland. You took Maryland to the Sweet 16. And you're telling me you weren't thinking about this job? You're a lie. You're a liar. Let's play that clip of Kevin Willard, please.
No, I don't know what I'm doing. I'll just be honest with you. I haven't talked to my agent. I haven't talked to my wife. I made a promise to this team that I was gonna just focus on this team, and that's all I've done. So I haven't talked to anybody. I have an agent. I'm sure he's talking to people because that's what agents like to do. But you know, I don't know.
As follow up to that, is there something at this juncture you think Maryland can do to bring you back?
It's right now my biggest concerns in life right now. You know, I don't know who my boss is going to be. It's the guy that brought me here, who I really liked and appreciative of him bringing me to College Park, is not here anymore, and I don't know who we're going to hire. And that's, as in today's day and age, that worries me a little bit. I'm just being honest. My honesty got me in trouble. Might as well keep getting me in trouble. So this is going to be a family decision. I love College Park. I love Maryland. You know, but when you're at this point in your career and you're looking at things, I have to take everything into consideration about what's moving forward. But I have not even talked to anybody, so I don't know what I'm doing.
So you heard from Kevin Willard. Kevin Willard is a liar. How can you tell me that you have not talked to anyone? You yourself has talked to a lot of people. You talked to Villanova. They approached you during the tournament. They wouldn't be doing this afterwards. They would not talk to you after the tournament because they want to do it now. They want to entertain players now, considering the fact that the transfer portal happened last week, and it continues to happen. You see players in the transfer portal every single day. They make announcements about it every single day. That's why Villanova approached you a week and a half ago about, okay, hey, we can offer you this incentive. We can offer you that incentive, okay? You knew what the deal was. You lied. Players are not accustomed to this. They're not stupid. At the end of the day, it's your job to keep the noise down. It's your job to be locked in like you weren't locked in. And it made a big effect on the players because everything that they worked harder for, you took away. You took it away. The shot that Queen made, it was a defining moment. You took that away from him by focusing on yourself. No wonder Maryland was booing. Because you took a job to go back to the Big East. You spent 12 seasons in the Big East. You spent another 2 in the Big Ten, and then now you're going back to the Big East. What's so great about the Big East other than the Big Ten? Can you not win in the Big Ten? You had it. Maryland's a great basketball program. You had it, and now they had to pick up the pieces and find a coach immediately because of your sudden departure. Maybe you like their resources over there than you did at Maryland. So I just don't know. Like to me is kind of bullish. I just don't like it. I just don't like the fact that you lied. At least Will Wade came out with the truth, even though it happened. And a lot of people weren't happy about him leaving McNeese State for NC State. That was announced during their run. Now, they could have kept it under wraps, but players are not robots. You can't hide on the truth from them. They know what's going on. Okay, so there's players in the portal. One of them, there's 750 players in this portal. That number is increasing every single day. you guys need to find the team that connects with you. Jay Bill has said this the other day. I remember him saying, we got to put players on contracts. If the NIL money is going to be here forever, which it will be, why can't we put players on contracts? According to Jay Billis. He said that, not me. And honestly, it makes sense. Because this is going to happen every single year. A player goes from BYU to Arizona State to Maryland, for example, and then there's no consistency. You're doing it for you. You're staying in college more than you expected. College is 4 or 5 years. It's not 10 years. It's 4 or 5 years in this COVID era. There's no consistency in sports anymore. There's none. Y'all go from, it's the money first and then you play second. So basically, you're going to collect a check, but yet you're not going to do the things to get more and more money. So you're going to leave basketball alone, right? All the spring and summer workouts and the fall too. You're going to leave that shit alone. But the money comes first. That's why you have 700 plus in the portal. Because none of those fools know what type of what the identity is. What type of team they want. You think you want to go to an all-star team. You think you want to win at the Big 12 or at the ACC. It takes a team. It takes teamwork. It takes connection. You have to connect. You can't make it about you. I almost made you spill your drink. I understand the money comes. I get it. But damn, isn't the ring important as well? Isn't the ring important? Is it connected with your team important as well? They even got like Cannon Ketch's, that's Tamika Ketch's son, in the portal. I know he didn't play much at BYU, but he knew what's coming. You got Pop Isaacs, who's going to his third school. Or I think this is his fourth school. He's going to his fourth school. This is bullshit. Why, Pops? Creighton. So you go from Tech, you're in trouble there, to Creighton, and now you're going elsewhere. This is stupid, man. This is stupid. So it is what it is. Now, my last point is we got a new coach at UNT. Now, Jared Mosley wanted to move quick. He didn't want to wait a week. He wanted to move quick and get the best coach possible. They got Danielle Robinson. I can't pronounce his name. Danielle Robinson, he's from Cleveland State. He's 65-42. He's defensive-minded coach according to what I read. What will be different from UNT? UNT has held opponents to under 60 points in the last 5 seasons. What players do you need on this roster? I know some of these players are going to transfer because of the new coach or the culture. But he took Cleveland State to 3 straight 20-win seasons. I'll have more on this coach next week because I need to see his style of play. I didn't get a chance to look at it, but I need to see his style. What is his style of play that's going to change at UNT that it wasn't changed at Cleveland State? Here's my 5 things. This is mine. This is my 5 things. This is me. I didn't copy this from anyone else. This is what I seen watching UNT basketball for years. And actually for years, but for this past season, this is what I want to see for this team, for this new coach. Number 1, what offensive system would you like to run? Okay, is it all guard play? Are you going to add a big man involved? Let's see. Are you going to run and gun? Are we going to play half court offense? We haven't been a great offensive team. That's what I'm saying. I'm not necessarily want to score 70 points a game, but I want to score about at least that amount while playing defense. Attack the pro. You need a guard, forward, and center. You need 2.5 to 3-star players that want to come to UNT. Now, I know as a freshman, I know as a sophomore, you may not know that UNT is your first best choice. We can actually, if you look at it, we actually have the best resources in all the conferences that we are in the conferences that we play against. We are the ones, but yet it's like we lose to everybody in that conference, and so it's not. So whatever Cleveland State was at, it's no different. We need a center that has touch around the basket. We haven't had a center that will touch around the basket since Zachary Simmons. Or you can add Thomas Bell in that. But I felt like Thomas Bell was more of a guard than a power forward. If you want to go way back, my former teammate George Dufil had one of the best touches around the baskets I ever seen. And I played against him in practice. Will the defense be a mix of zone or man? Now, UNT doesn't play zone. Now, if they did, you realize that that UNT, if they play zone right now, you realize that the opponents will be averaging less than 10 points more a game. So UNT could have had the best defensive mindset. The defensive product out there. You realize that if they play zone. And then you got to put the fans in their seats early. I know that, again, it goes to my point again. You put more investments in football, why not put those investments in basketball as well? Got to promote well. Got to promote better. All right, so that game's tonight. I'll have more UNT and men's college basketball stuff next week because we're going to recap the whole entire season. And if there's any transfer portal updates or NBA draft entries that we need to talk about, or what player we need to talk about, then we'll address it. But for now, I see Dylan Harper, the Ron Harper's child, in the draft right now. He's going to go number 2. So I haven't really seen much of his game, so I'm going to wait until next week to discuss that in more detail. Now let's get to the women's Final Four in Tampa. South Carolina versus Texas. This is the matchup. They're meeting for the 4th time this season. South Carolina has the upper hand, 2-1. But yeah, South Carolina has the upper hand, 2-1. South Carolina beat Texas to win the SEC title. South Carolina beat Texas to win the SEC regular season. Texas beat South Carolina in Austin, but South Carolina, the first matchup, beat Texas in South Carolina. So, the matchup, South Carolina has 10 McDonald's All-Americans. Maryland and Duke took everything away. Now, you could say against Indiana, but Indiana was talking too much. Maryland did their best for up until 5 minutes left in the game. When they started missing a bunch of layups, and South Carolina was capitalizing on theirs, the game turned. The game turned into South Carolina over Maryland. And so they took that away. Duke took the paint away from South Carolina. Maryland did the same thing, but then again, Duke did it did it better than Maryland did. Maryland, if they make their layups, you talk about a team that was up as many as 6 points, could have had that to lead to up as as high as 10 or 12 in the second half. And the momentum would have been on Maryland's side, but it was never there. The only time Maryland had the momentum was at halftime. Like I said, Maryland missed all those layups. South Carolina took advantage of those. Chloe Kids in Malaysia for Wiley. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Let me go back to that. Duke played straight 40 minutes of great basketball. Well, actually, it wasn't great. It was good. If Duke had some offense, again, it comes with the portal. If Duke had some offense, they beat South Carolina. If Duke has some offense, they beat South Carolina. South Carolina is not going to be able to defend a player that's averaging 20 points a game. Chloe Kids in Malaysia for Wiley will need to score about 50 points in this game to win. Chloe Kids needs to be aggressive again. They always talk about how much she's been in the weight room. Well, okay, so how come we haven't seen Chloe Kids put a double-double in this game? How can we not? How's that not possible? How can we not? How does Chloe Kids? In every ESPN South Carolina broadcast, they talk about how Chloe Kids has done this, Chloe Kids has done that, but why is she not averaging a double-double? Joyce Edwards has struggled. Joyce Edwards is a freshman. Remember that. When you're in this situation, they tell you got to be a sophomore. You got to go a grade up. Joyce Edwards is playing at freshman level. We never seen this before. Joyce Edwards is not getting playing time because of her freshman mistakes. She's making mistakes on the court. That's why Chloe Kids is getting more of the playing time. Now, I wish Joyce Edwards will wake up and understand that you're no longer a freshman anymore. You have played dirty games of college basketball. You know how it is. You know the hard practices that South Carolina has. You know how it is. I don't want to, again, will she step up? We'll see. Malaysia for Wiley had 5 points in 11 minutes against Duke, but balled out for 23 points against Maryland. That's the reason why they won against Maryland, because of Malaysia for Wiley. Against Duke, it was different. And everybody, every fan, they're fake. Every fan that sees Malaysia for Wiley is a fan they're so-called fans of women's basketball. They want Malaysia for Wiley to transfer. Why? Because she's not connected with Dawn Staley? I think she's connected with Dawn Staley. I think it's up to her to get out of her funk. Dawn Staley puts pressure on players all the time, and players respond to her pressure. Respond to her challenges all the time. That was a wake-up call for Malaysia for Wiley. You had 5 points in 11 minutes. You weren't giving us anything against Duke. How is it that you put 23 against Maryland, but yet you gave us 5 points against Duke? Duke took everything away from South Carolina. The only problem with South Carolina was better offensively in this game. They weren't great, but they were better. And then, can South Carolina be on the upset alert? Texas, Vic Schaefer, again. Can they be on the upset alert? You have seen this team. You know this team. I don't want Texas to go in there and just think about, okay, this is another game. Texas has to go in there with a mindset that says, we want to win. And then you got to score 60 to win. Look at the numbers. Maryland, look at the numbers. Against Indiana, they had 64 points. Maryland, they had 71 points. Against Duke, they had 54 points. Texas last night had 58 points against TCU. TCU is one of the best. TCU is actually good defensively. Not one of the best in this tournament. I'll give it to Texas. I will give it to UCLA, but I'll give it to UCLA as one of the best defensive teams in this whole entire tournament, because I feel like UCLA can play in the backcourt, but Texas defends you 90 feet. And speaking of Texas, they got to have a breakout game for Madison Booker. Now, Madison, there's a point next season that you're going to be sharing the draft with Olivia Miles, which I'll get to that in a second. This game is your breakout moment. This game should have anywhere between 15 and 20 points on it for you. Roy Harmon leads this team. If Roy, all the things that she went through last season, the torn ACL, sitting out, watching the team fail at the Elite Eight again, it's up to her to get this game going, get this team where they need to be at. The bench will be the key to success. Jordan Lee was great last night. Vic versus Don again. Don knows Vic from his Mississippi State days. Again, Dawn Staley, the only problem that Dawn Staley has is that she has a problem dissecting Vic Schaefer's schemes on defense. Vic Schaefer can run a completely different defensive style, but South Carolina, Dawn can't figure it out. That's the thing. They got to score 60 points or better to win this game. That's Texas side. The only time Texas has 65 points against Illinois, against Illinois. You would think that Texas is offensive challenge. You would think, well, actually, Texas has 67 points against Tennessee in the Sweet 16. You would think that Texas has the ability to score 60 points. They do. But last night, TCU played them for 35 minutes. And it was around that fourth quarter, 7 to 6 minute mark when Sedona fouled out. Texas took over. And they press you 90 feet. So Texas will press you 90 feet. I don't get the numbers that ESPN has again. ESPN has this game as South Carolina winning this game was a 72% chance. ESPN was wrong about Notre Dame because Notre Dame versus TCU. TCU dominated against Notre Dame. Even though ESPN gave Notre Dame an 80% chance to win, I don't trust their numbers anymore. If I was a betting man, I would give South Carolina. Again, South Carolina is a better team than Texas. 52-48. The problem with Texas is that can Texas play a complete 40 minutes on offense? Can they put the ball in the basket? If South Carolina is not putting the ball in the basket, can Texas do that? Now, UCLA and UConn, these two teams match up well. There's a reason why they match up well. Let's start with UCLA. Lauren Betts is a dominant force. Lauren Betts, she had 30 points last night. Not 30 points last night. She had 30 points and 15 for 16 from the field against Ole Miss. Ole Miss could defend her. Kiki Rice has to show up for this game. Defending Page is on a boxing one. You got to defend Page. You got to play physical defense. You need to shoot 45% to win. And then 8 players could be pro level on this roster alone. You know what? I got upset today. When they were talking about the Olivia Miles situation, they were trying to they had Shanae Abumike to I guess basically preview the Final Four. To say, can South Carolina win this thing? Can UConn win this game? Yeah, they gave their answers and all that stuff, but it really gives you the knowledge. It really understands you. It really takes you back that Stephen A. and Shannon, I love them to death. I love those guys, man. But they know nothing about women's basketball. They know nothing about the game of basketball. They know not the game of basketball. They know nothing about women's basketball at all. You're telling me you're making all that money and you can't go to Tampa to watch the tournament? Both of those guys to watch the tournament. Stephen A. has been in Miami for weeks now. You know that Tampa's close by. Shannon has the money for days to go to Tampa to watch the tournament, to watch the elevation of the players grow, but yet you make excuses of I'm busy here, I'm busy there. This is why you should never be talking about women's basketball if you can't go to the tournament. Heck, take me to the tournament. Take me to Tampa. I want to go. And so I was disappointed because they never talked about UCLA. They talked about they spent a minute on UConn, but nothing about UCLA. I honestly think that UCLA is better than UConn, just because of the physical presence that they have. They're going to present a problem for Paige. You're not going to get anything easy over Lauren Betts. You're not. In UConn State, Paige had 31 points last night against USC. I know Juju wasn't there, but it doesn't matter. USC. Well, I shouldn't say that because I like Juju, and honestly, I want Jaden to focus. I want him to. I agree with his mother, by the way. Focus on football, then. But anyways, I'm sorry, but Juju does matter. I hope Jaden could have definitely showed up for the game. I'm not sure why. That tells me that there's something going on. Anyways, so Sarah Strong had 22 points and 17 rebounds. She needs to be a force for this game. How do you defend Betts? How does UConn defend Betts? UConn really, it's not going to be easy for Betts to get shots up in this game. I think UConn's going to play her physical, if it's going to play her physically. I think this is going to be the only team that's going to play her physically. I don't think. If you look at Ole Miss didn't really have the size to match up with Betts. Caitlin Chin has to be great. She was great last night, but she has to be greater for this game for UConn to win. 50 to 80 points wins this game. I think both of those teams are capable of scoring 80 points at best. So I do think this game will be in the low 60s. I do think that Texas-South Carolina game is going to be in the 50, 60 range. But this game might be 60s, 70s. UCLA has length. UConn has physical players. UConn their whole roster is physicality. Gino has one of the best. I think this season Gino has some physical players on his team. UCLA, they're physical, but they have length. It goes hand in hand. Who shoots better? That will be the key to success. I think that's what I told y'all. I think UCLA wins this game because UCLA has not only the length, but they have the offense as well. And I told you that there's 8 players on this roster for UCLA that can go in the WNBA. Maybe a year, maybe 2 more years. It remains to be seen. It remains to think that if the WNBA opens up more teams, you're going to see more players. You're going to see players from UCLA or other schools to take advantage on being drafted on those teams. Now, I got disappointed this morning because they went from the Final Four preview that lasted for like 3 minutes to talking about the collective bargaining agreement. That was a whole segment. They talked about Olivia Miles. They added the collective bargaining agreement on top of that, which is stupid. But anyways, number 3. I was literally disappointed. What happened at UNT? This is women's basketball. UNT lost to Troy 88-86. It was the third round of the NIT. Tamisha Lemke in her final game had 26 points and 7 rebounds. Free throws. They went 18 for 33. This was the overtime. This was the overtime. Troy beat UNT in overtime 88-86. There was poor officiating. Jason Burton got a technical foul this game. They got out-rebounded 54-39 by a physical team. But Troy had 30 turnovers and UNT had 18. So you're telling me that Troy had 30 turnovers and UNT still lost the game. Again, if you make your free throws, Troy doesn't have a chance. Now, there's 10 things that we need to talk about for this UNT squad. Can you pull up the screen of the PowerPoint screen, please? I want everybody to see this side by side. So, we need to talk about. This is the recap of the UNT's basketball season. This is a long laundry list that happened and probably needs to happen for next season. So, number 1, they 25-9. The second straight season was out a double-digit losing record. Fabulous. Tamisha Lemke gets a first-team All-AAC and second in MVP voting. I thought she could have won the whole thing, honestly. This team needs a backup point guard and 2 post players. Nia Johnson did not play in the two NIT games. Tamisha Lemke is no longer there. And then, as of last night, Gwyneth McGrew, the freshman post player who didn't get any playing time this season, is transferring. So you're not losing any. So with those 2 players, you're losing a lot. But with Gwyneth, you're not losing anything because she's just a freshman who doesn't know what her identity is. She doesn't know her identity at all. That's why it's easy for these players to get in the transfer portal when you're a freshman. When you're a freshman, yeah, you know how it is. But Gwyneth, I have a question for you. If you can't do it at UNT, what makes you think you don't do it at another school? I wish you nothing but the best, but it's going to be the same situation at a different school than it is at UNT. You have the best. You have the resources. I'm not sure why you put your ass in the transfer portal. I'm not sure why. You got to set the bar high. This has to be the NCAA tournament next year or bust. We got to go to the tournament next year. I don't care about the record. The record looks great, but the tournament will be even better. You protected home court. You went 16-1. Great. Number 6, what's the mindset for the 2025-2026 season? I think my mindset will be get the winning players, but it's got to lead into something. Again, you're a great coach, Jason. We love you. However, it's got to lead into something. Speaking of that, he's one of the best coaches in the AAC. There's no coach better. But I would take it back. I'll say Lindsay Edmond, who, by the way, could get a job in the highest level one day. And I'm talking about the highest level, like the highest Division I level. Like we're talking about any bigger school that wants her service from Rice to wherever she's gone at. I think she's elite. The way she's taken Rice, that had no chance of getting past the first round of the AAC tournament, that take him to the championship game again, but they lost. Again, NIT, they lost. Again. has proven that she's the right that someone's going to come calling soon. I'm surprised that Houston's women's basketball has not called, because she's right there. Rice is in Houston. She's right there. She can win in the Big 12 if you hire her. But Jason Burton, he's not going anywhere. Not to my knowledge. Irina Hardaway, can she take the lead? I know she's going to be the last remaining player on this team, but can she take the lead? Jalen Talley and Kyla Deck, they got to take their games to the next level next year. You talk about those two players, I think Jalen Talley would be even better than Nia Johnson is. Not defensively, but I think she'll be a lot better. Kyla Deck has all the tools in the world. I think Kyla Deck, if she spends time in the spring and the summer, part of the fall, working on that game, I think she can average 18 to 19 points a game next season. She's that great. And then number 10, fans have to support this team through the good and the bad. You got to fill the seats. I know that, again, football dominates that program, but football has not won in the last, 20 years. UNT has a chance. UNT has a shared title. Okay, they have a shared title. UNT has been in the top 3 in the conference the last 2 seasons. UNT has won 25 games the last 2 seasons. We have made it past March the 14th in the last 2 seasons. Why in the world is that not a big investment? Number 4, Kim Mulkey's garbage comments to the reporter. Now let's play the first clip from Kim Mulkey. This is the first clip from Kim Mulkey, please.
Yeah, Coach, obviously, just like any other year, you have seniors that are going to graduate, and obviously we only see a glimpse of what you guys have been through just this season. What does this team mean to you, and how was it to coach all of them?
I think I'd probably need a few days to think and answer that with great detail. After a loss or even after a victory, it's hard to just sum up in a press conference what this team means. Obviously, we had a heck of a year. We, just off the top of my head, we were a top seed again in the NCAA tournament. You got to host. We won games that we probably should not have. We managed injuries, I thought, as good as we could. But there's so much more that I want to say, but I'd have to just really let the emotion go away after a loss and just really, really think about what a very, very good year we've had.
All right, so that's one Kim Mulkey. And you think that Kim Mulkey will be all right. You think that Kim Mulkey will be, grateful for, the opportunity, grateful for the season. And I think she is. Kim Mulkey's a hot and cold coach for me. And it proves in this clip here. So let's play the clip from Kim Mulkey, please. The second clip.
Second straight year you guys get eliminated in the Elite Eight. Just
Terrible, isn't it?
yeah,
Is that terrible or is that good?
terrible.
Is it? How many Final Fours you play in?
None.
So it's probably pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
So cut that clip out, please. But Kim, I know the players really respect you. Actually, let me say this. I got 2 things. Kim Mulkey and then the ESPN reporter Holly Rowe. Let's start with Kim first. Kim, I'm tired of you challenging reporters. I'm tired of you being disrespectful. Why in the world do you want to go that route? You are successful in every single way possible. And you want to go after a reporter that's doing his job. That's very classless on your part. You have the personality of the players. I get it. Players love you. But don't go after a reporter that's doing his job. Yes, you gone to the Final Four. Yes, you won national championships. But please, don't go after a reporter that's doing his job. It doesn't matter. You obviously don't care about playing in the Final Four because your team lost. You lost to UCLA. You lost, and then you got Flage saying, "Hey, they didn't mess me up." Flage, they did. They messed you up. What was the point? They messed you up, Flage. What are you talking about? Did you not play in the game? Why did you have the turnovers that you have? They created that. They did that to you. You just didn't throw the ball away. They caused that. Kim Mulkey, you need to stop. At your age, you need to have grace. At your age now, you need to be grateful. Most of these counterparts are retiring because of the NIL money and not knowing where their team's going to be at next season. You're the only 60-year-old woman, or I could be wrong, that's staying put. There's a reason why people are leaving LSU. There's a reason why you lost your center. Because she's like, shit, if she doesn't care about me, I'm gone. So that attitude there will not, it'll be even worse moving forward. Be happy that you got to the Elite Eight. Most teams will love to send their teams to the Sweet 16, Elite Eight, Final Four, even a national championship appearance. They'll love that. They'll love to play again, but they don't have the same mindset that you do. You have the mindset. You just need to have grace at your age that every year is not Final Four a bust. It's not. And that's okay. A small school like Richmond, a small school like South Florida will love to go to Sweet 16. Creighton, Final Four, Elite Eight, they will love to be there. You know why they're not there? Because they don't have the quality talent that LSU or South Carolina or Texas has. They don't have that talent. Their talent only gets them to the NCAA tournament, and that's it. And if they did get to the Sweet 16, if they did get to the Elite Eight, if they get to the Elite Four, do you think that they'll be focusing on preparing for that opponent? They won't, because they don't care. They just want to get to the Final Four, and that's it. They're not going to practice. I'm telling you. I'm telling you this. But you need to show grace. And then Holly Rowe. Last night, Harley Rowe inaccurately, and she made this mistake. She did not acknowledge this mistake. Harley Rowe said that Anisha Morrow had a broken nose. Anisha Morrow told you that she didn't have a broken nose. Anisha Morrow had a fractured nose. That's different from broken, Holly. These reporters, we need to work on accurate information. Shams needs to work on accurate information. I'm not a big fan of Shams Shinami. I'm not a big fan of him. He doesn't add direct knowledge to the game. Why is he in NBA? Why is he in Holly Rowe? I expect her to do better in the Final Four in the national championship. I know you're the only person there that works the women's games and the NBA, so some of the NBA, and then college football, the WNBA. You're the only person that works the WNBA on the sidelines. No one else does. Angel Gray doesn't do it. Who else doesn't do it? Brooke Walsborough doesn't do it. Who else is there? Katie George doesn't do it. Stormy something doesn't do it. Tiffany Green doesn't do it. It's only you, Holly. We need to get your facts straight. If you're going to get facts straight about us, you need to get your facts straight. You need to get your facts straight right then and there. Now, transfers. This is my last point. Olivia Miles is transferring from Notre Dame. She's bypassing the WNBA draft. When I saw this, I was shocked. I was disappointed. I was disappointed. I was very upset, though. I was very upset at Olivia Miles because Olivia Miles is a great player. Olivia Miles has all the intangibles to succeed. Look at this numbers: 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists a game this season at Notre Dame. Now, granted, Notre Dame wasn't the best when it came down to the last remaining regular season. They weren't the best at all. But it's sad. It's sad because you got a great player in Olivia Miles that can make a bunch of money in the WNBA. And I know the money's not attractive, but you make that money off sponsorships and brand deals. Olivia, you can have 8 to 10 sponsorship deals in the WNBA. You could pay you could be paid 10 figures in the WNBA. You're not going to go broke when you go to the WNBA. That's what the player's mindset is. You guys will think you'll go broke when you go to the WNBA. You guys think you'll play for free. But yet, every night we watch the WNBA, we see your asses on the court. We see your asses in practice. It's not like you can't get to the games. It's us. It's us that we got to go and watch you. It's us that we got to pay for the cable packages to make sure that we put money in the leagues. It's us. Why is that a problem for these college players to stay an extra season in college? You weren't hurt. You suffered a couple ankle injuries, yes. Ankle injuries, yes. But you weren't hurt severely. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. I'll take that back. She had torn ACL back 2 years ago. So that's why she's using it. Now, granted, yeah, but still, you're the second pick in the WNBA draft. Why are you bypassing all that for another chance again? So what happens if another injury, God forbid, happens again in college? What happens now? What career do you have? You don't have any eligibility left. It's not like you're going back to Notre Dame. That's not your. If you don't go back to Notre Dame, that's not your fault. It's actually, well, let me take that back. It's actually not your fault that you're going back. If you do go back to Notre Dame, which I don't think you are. I don't think you're going back to Notre Dame. I think that you're going to somewhere in the Big 10 or the Big 12 or in the SEC that you could fit in. I don't think you like playing with Hannah Hidalgo or Sonia Cintron. I don't think that. I think this is going to be Hannah Hidalgo's team. I know the name. I think that's going to be her team. I'm very surprised that Olivia Miles is bypassing the WNBA. She shouldn't be. She has all the talent in the world to have a franchise, to lead a franchise. And you're telling me that college is important over the pro. That's why you're going to see these players get up there in age, and they're going to say college is better than the pros. We're not ready for the pros yet. We're going to stay in college and make all the money. But you have made all the money, though. You made all the money. Have you not? Yeah, you'll make more money. It will increase over time, but yet it's like you already made the money, though. Like, get into the league. Go make more money. Go make 10 figures in the league. Angel Reese is complaining about money all the time. That's the only hate I have for her. I love her to death. But at the same time, you guys can make 10 figures based on your brand. You just had it on Rival League. That was successful enough. You have Athletes Unlimited. That's successful enough. You're working in other you're working at your colleges. I saw Victoria Vivians work on the Mississippi State staff. I saw, who else did I see? Oh God, oh man, I can't remember who else I saw. But you guys can make the money. What is the problem? The WNBA will NECA will do everything she can to get the money, to get the players their bread. Asia Wilson has made money off her books and bread and shoes. She to the point where she doesn't have to play in the unrival league. She don't have to play overseas. Like, there's money out here to be had. It's not like you're going to go to the WNBA broke. You're going to be fine either way it goes. You just need to pick up a degree, and whatever happens, God forbid it doesn't happen, then you guys are going to be more successful than the average Joe. Like Olivia, get out of college, take your game to numerous heights, period. Cody McMahon, she's out of Ohio State. That's after what happened in the second round. Yes, I expect that. Tanaja Latin, who led all of NCAA in scoring at 25 points a game, out at Florida State. Gianna Kippens from Utah, the little guard from Utah, who averaged 19 points a game, who lost her coach, is transferring out of Utah. Samaya Smith, again, transferring out of LSU. She's averaged 6 points a game and 6 rebounds a game. Aaliyah Guyton, the Iowa, just a freshman guard. It doesn't really matter. Yarden Garzon, Indiana, that's the Indiana guard, 3-point shooter. And then Skylar Jones, the Arizona forward. I think Skylar Jones will be a future WNBA player one day. I think I like her game. Her game reminds me of Candace Dupree. That's a good comparison. I like that. I made that the comparison myself. Her game reminds me of Candace Dupree. And so just the amount of foolishness again in this portal that the women players have. I know Cody. I understand Ohio State. I get it. I understand Florida State. I get it. Okay, you lose your team. You know, there's an atmosphere. You want to win. You see South Carolina, Texas be up here. You want to be up there along with them. Listen, South Carolina does not need a Latin. They don't need a McMahon. They don't even need Olivia Miles. South Carolina can go to the portal and get about one player, and that's it. They'll have the same team next year. They'll be in the same conversation next year. It's a game-by-game basis for them. I wish these players nothing but the best. I wish Olivia Miles nothing but the best. I hope that she goes to the right cause that connects with her. I hope that she succeeds in whatever she gets, wherever she goes. Now let's get to the NFL draft. Okay, this is the quarterback room. These players could be on the Cowboys one day. Now, the Cowboys are looking for a backup quarterback. Oddly enough, they are. They're also looking for a wide receiver, which I'll talk about that next week. They're also looking for a linebacker, which I'll follow that up in the following week. Then they're looking for an offensive lineman, which I'll follow that up the following week. I want to list 10 more players for those sake, because we're going to have a full segment on the NFL draft. So we're going to start with Shedeur. Shedeur had 37 touchdown passes at Colorado in his last season at Colorado. Now, the draft boards are crazy for Shedeur. Shedeur, even though, you know, he is one of the best quarterbacks in this draft, I put him over Cam Ward. Oddly enough, I put him over Cam Ward. Shedeur knows where to place the ball at. Shedeur knows when to run. Shedeur can take a team. I think he possesses leadership. People lead in different ways. You know, Stephen A. for the longest time has asked Kevin Durant, "Are you a leader? Are you a leader?" for years. But again, people lead in different ways. Shador's a leader, guys. Shador's a leader. He comes under pressure. Being pressured by your father, he puts you in those situations. That's why you have the celebrity status that went to Colorado, the T.O.s, the Michael Irvings, the rappers, everything. They put pressure on you. I think not only they were there to sign autographs, but he did it because he wants to put pressure on his sons, and he did. He did. So Shador's ready for that pressure. Shador's ready to grind. The only problem is that Shador holds the ball too long, and he takes too many hits. So in this draft, in this quarterback, he needs to throw the ball away. He needs to do something with the ball. He needs to throw it away. He needs to, needs to tuck it and run at some point because those defenders are bearing down on him, and he has to release the ball with precision. The Browns, Titans, or you might drop to the Cowboys. If the Cowboys draft Shador, I think Dak's not done. I think Shador will be long gone. But if that were to happen, then Shador could sit for a year or two, and then Shador would take over in 2027. And then Dak won't be out of a job. These guys want Dak out of a job. He won't be out of a job. Dak might retire. But no. But I don't think that I don't think Shador will drop that far. Number 2, Jalen Monroe. He's 6'2", 225. He has 16 touchdown passes, 11 interceptions. This hasn't been his best season. If you look at Alabama, I know Alabama's not a quarterback-led school, but this wasn't his best season. He was actually their best quarterback. He didn't win too much at Alabama. I know Alabama did not win the SEC. But the good thing is that he calls on the number. He connects with the play calling. So I do see if surprisingly, if he is a first-round quarterback, quarterbacks there could be 3 quarterbacks taken in the first round. Let's not forget that this draft could be shaky. A draft that somebody could be taking in the second, or could be projected to be in the second or third round, could be a late first-round pick. Jalen Monroe has late first-round picks, but again, it's the situation at Alabama that he was in. So I got second round, third round. I got the Vikings, Commanders, and Seahawks. So the Commanders, their weakness is the number 2 quarterback. You don't need another vet. You need someone that can challenge Jaden. Marcus Mariota doesn't do enough, but you need someone that needs to challenge Jaden, saying that, hey, if you screw up your sophomore year, then we can add Jalen Monroe in the lineup, and someone else will be wearing a different jersey for the Commanders. And so we'll see. But I don't expect JD to struggle, though. I don't think he will. Number 3, Quinn Ewers, 6'2", 210, South Lake kid. 31 touchdown passes and 12 interceptions, 75 quarterback rating. His best games were Arizona State and Georgia. He's not really the best quarterback I've seen. He struggled a little bit, considering the fact that he threw a 90-yard interception to Jack Brewer in the national championship game. It was tough. It was tough to watch. Texas was in minutes of tying the game, and that really closed the game out. And so Quinn Ewers has backup all over it. I don't think he's ready for the NFL. I don't think he'll ever. I could be wrong, but I don't think he's ready. I think it'll be the 4th to 7th round that he could be taken. But I think he's going to be fighting on this team, on a team somewhere, for that backup role. He knows how it is. He knows his backup role. He might fight for, even worse, he might fight for a practice squad spot. And I don't expect that for him. I think he's too good enough for the practice squad. Number 4, Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart's the Ole Miss quarterback. Jackson Dart had 29 touchdown passes and only 6 interceptions. He's calm. He knows his needs. He knows his reads. Sorry. He has a deep ball, and he connects with the receivers real well. So I like this. I've always said this. The Steelers need this quarterback. The Steelers need to go either Jackson or Jalen. I'm talking about Jalen Monroe. Both quarterbacks, along with Shador, are franchise changers. If Shador were to drop down, I don't think he's dropping down past 12. I don't think he is. Considering how his attitude is. People put too many voices on in people's heads all the time, so I'm not worried about that. His footwork and the play calling is the difference. And I have him going to the Steelers. I think the Steelers are a well-organized team for him. You just got DK Metcalf. You have George Pickens. If he can grow up this upcoming season, you got a good offensive line. You got a great head coach in Mike Tomlin. You talk about Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and who's the quarterback for Cleveland? Cam Ward, Shador. It remains to be seen. Jackson could be that quarterback. Jackson Dart can be that quarterback for the Steelers. I know the Steelers don't want to go young, but But at some point, if it gets to the draft and Aaron Rodgers has been signed, the Steelers have to move on. The Steelers have to move on. And honestly, I think they should move on from Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron wants to play football, but I don't think the Steelers should continue to entertain that. Number 5, the last quarterback, Will Howard. Will Howard had 35 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. He won a championship with Ohio State. Solid QB. His read option will work in the NFL. His option, because he's a physical runner. He lacks footwork and arm strength is questionable. The Jaguars, Giants, Raiders, or third-round QB will be my choice. And so, to me, I think Will Howard can't lead a team. I don't trust him in the 2-minute drives. If I'm having a quarterback in my game, I don't trust him in that drive in those 2-minute offensive sets. And so I'm not saying Will Howard is not a future quarterback. I will say that. Yeah, I'm not saying Will Howard is a future quarterback, but I will say that he can make a great backup. So that remains to be seen. All right, guys. I'll come back. We're going to talk about the WNBA. And we'll talk about the NBA as well. So the NBA had some brawls in it. Also, the NBA what's it called? The NBA has Stephen A. versus LeBron. I need to share my thoughts on Haley Van Lith because that pertains to the draft as well. So we're going to come back and we're going to talk about that. It's Beyond the Game on Fishbowl Radio.
I feel like falling in love. I'm in the mood to fuck something up. Better fucking something. I need some drink in my cup. Hey, I'm in the mood to fuck something up. I wanna go missing. I need a prescription. I wanna go higher. Can I sit on top of you? I wanna go where nobody's been. Have you ever had fun like this? We gon' fuck up the night. Black lights, spaceships fly. Unapologetic when we fuck up the night. We getting fucked up tonight. We gon' fuck up the night. See fire, let you see stars, let you elevate, let you meet God. I feel like falling in love. I'm in the mood to fuck something up. 'Cause we gon' fuck up the night. What's in these four walls? You sexy, my love. Don't miss this roll call. Did you hear a word? Show up, show up, show up. Go up, go up, go up. You Mr. Nasty, I clean it up. Go where nobody's been. Go where nobody's been. Have you ever had fun like this? Ever had fun? I wanna go missing. I need a prescription. I wanna go higher. Gonna sit on top of you. We gon' fuck up the night. Black lights, spaceships fly. Unapologetic when we fuck up the night. Fuck up tonight. We getting fucked up tonight. We gon' fuck up the night. See fire. Let you see stars. Let you elevate. Let you lead God. I feel like falling in love. I'm in the mood to fuck something up. We gon' fuck up the night. Sonic, sexy, product on my body. Boy, you got it. Hit them hydraulics while I ride it. Got me acting hella thotty. So excited, so exotic. I'm a seasoned professional. Squeeze it, don't let it go. Tease it, no self-control. I got time today. I got time today. I got time. Oh, I got time today. I can't wait to come out and play. Ooh, yeah, you. Come and cup it, baby. While I bust it for you, baby. Oh, baby. Anywhere, anytime, I don't mind. Yeah. For you, I'm back in the truck. For you, you get fucked up. For you, I'm putting my cup up. For you, we gon' fuck up the night. Take flight, blinding lights. Fuck it up, fuck it up, fuck it up. Bet you see stars. Bet you go far. Bet you levitate. Bet you need God. Yeah. We gon' fuck up the night. Spaceships fly. Fuck it up, fuck it up.
What's poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in. I got options. I can pass that bitch like Stockton. Just joshing. I'ma spend this holiday locked in. My body got rid of them toxins. Sports in the top 10. I can put the ball in the end zone, put a bad bitch in the friend zone. This shit sound like an intro jet song, give me that tempo. Told Pooh he a fool with the shit. Told her don't let her friends know. In the Ville and I move like a dime. Eating fettuccine at Vincenzo's. Me and my amigos got that free smoke on the West Coast. Yeah, I'm talking about pre-rolls. Dark hair bitch, and she look like she go. She do. Hometown hero, feeling myself, can't murder my ego. She heard of my deep stroke. She said, babe, does it hurt when I deep throat? It does. Certified freak hoe, hang around us, and she learning my lingo. Back then, wasn't worried about me though. In the gym, trying to work on my free throw. Goddamn. Spending money at the club like Sam's. Yes, ma'am. She a little freak on cam. She don't put this on the ground. Little boys trying to diss on the ground. Hey, I can't switch on the fan. Shit's hot, hit the switch on the fan. This where my head is. I feel resentment from every direction. Even some homies be wearing expressions. I be discouraged from sharing my blessings. We used to share a connection. Now it just feels like it's wearing and stretching. I'm getting real sick of taking advice from people that never could stare at reflections. Somewhere in there is a lesson. Y'all ain't involved and it's very depressing. I'm at the club with the basketball team. Me and the Cardinals are sharing a section. Gotta cherish the present. I'm drinking water and wearing protection. Got a career and I'm very invested. Some people call it a scary obsession. I like to call it a passion. I can't be sitting relaxing. PG, we getting some traction. I'm at the venue, it's packed in. I'm digging her accent. I got a BB Simon belt on me and she tryna get it unfastened. That's my type of distraction. That's my type of she Latin. Got my own flow and I'm about to get a patent. Brand new sheets for the bed, they satin. Y'all wasn't tuned in back then. My swag, they keep jacking. I ain't doing no verse, quit asking. What's poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in. I got options. I can pass that bitch like Stockton. Just joshing. I'ma spend this holiday locked in. My body got rid of them toxins. Sports in the top 10.
Welcome back to the Beyond the Game podcast on Fresh Pro Radio. My name is Jamie. So we need to talk about this WNBA draft. We got the top forwards in the WNBA. We got the top centers in the WNBA. We need to talk about Haley Van Lith, and then we got a breaking news from the suspensions that happened. I'm sorry, for the brawl that happened the other day. So number one, let's start with the top forwards in the WNBA. Kiki Ifrin from USC, Anisha Morrow from LSU, Rhea Marshall from USC, Janaea Barker from UCLA, Maddie Westbell from Notre Dame, and Taylor Jones from Texas. Now, the ultimate question will be: all those players are potentially in mock drafts that I've seen in all the websites. So shout out to those websites. The only player that I see that's pro ready on this list is Anisha Morrow. You talk about a double machine. You talk about a team that wants her presence, a team that we're about a center away from being great. I honestly think she could be the top pick in the draft. But then again, I'm wrong. So I don't think Dallas needs a center. Dallas does need a guard, but I don't think they need a center like Anisha Morrow. I think Anisha Morrow can lead a franchise with her play on the court. I look at Taylor Jones. I know Taylor Jones is long. She can score the basketball. She's long, and she can make an impact on any team. I like her and Kayla Oldencare working with each other. I like that fact. Rhea Marshall will be a wild card for me in the third round. I know Rhea Marshall will have to fight to get her spot, but it won't be as difficult. I think honestly the Golden State Valkyries will be a good team for her. Kiki Ifrin has definitely regained her top spot. If you talk about the second pick in the draft now it's Kiki Ifrin. The way she has played the last two games, outside Juju's injury, she has stepped up her game. And so I'm like, okay, do I put her in the second or the third pick? So that remains to be seen. But the main question is can they defend Asia Wilson? Asia Wilson has not been defended in forever. And so we'll see where that goes. Number two, the top centers in the WNBA: Sedona Prince, Aroka Lee, Michaela Timpson, Dominique Malagua from France, Tamisha Lampkin, and Alexis Morgakowski from Nebraska. Now, I'm only going to talk about a couple of players. I'm only going to talk about three players. Let's start with Tamisha Lampkin. Now, I know Tamisha Lampkin has not appeared on anyone else's boards. I know that there has to be a team for her in this league. I know she's a great player. I wanted that not only the WNBA has to address their money issues, they have to address why they're not going after the mid-major players. There's some players out there that have averaged about 15 to 18 points a game at their mid-major schools. Tamisha Lampkin is one of them. And so I just don't know what their thought process is. Again, you got to add more teams. That's always and will be the discussion for years to come. So I hope, honestly, that they'll get it right. I know that Roka Lee has been hurt. I know that her draft stock keeps falling every single day. The way you look at it, she was in the first round when she came out. When she came out a couple of years ago when she had her dominant season. And then now it's like injuries after injuries after injuries. It's her draft has gone down to the point where she may not be drafted anymore. And but I wouldn't wish that on Aroka. I think she's a good player with a lot of talent, but it is always a factor of health. Then my last player is Sedona Prince. I know Sedona Prince, you played the last game last night. You weren't effective 4 points and 9 rebounds, and that's not your fault, honestly. I think they didn't run enough for you. They ran majority for Haley Van Lith. You know, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I think TCU had a great season. TCU had a fabulous season, 34-4, Elite 8. The last 5 minutes of the game were the main difference. When she fouled out, Texas was able to get whatever they wanted. And so, Sedona Prince is the first round grade. The only question I have is the assault. The assault that occurred a couple years ago, I think. How's the WNBA going to handle that? I know it happened a couple years ago, but but the WNBA, for one, doesn't let things go. I know that somebody has to answer the question of why it is up to her. You don't have Mark Campbell to protect you. You don't have TCU to protect you now. You're on your own. You got to answer the questions wherever a team wants you. You got to answer those questions. That's the big thing. The assault questions is huge. So it remains to be seen. But now it's okay. Now it's just it is what it is. Number 3. Sorry, not number 3. So it is what it is. Number 3, Taylor Jenkins is surprise firing. Taylor Jenkins was fired from the Memphis Grizzlies. I didn't expect that. A couple weeks before the playoffs start, and you fired the man. You could have waited till after the season to fire him. And you want the offense to run around John Morant. John Morant has to be healthy first to run around the offense around him. I always said this, and I'm going to keep on saying this. I don't know, no matter what people agree with me or not. The team lacked leadership. The team lacked leadership. As much as Taylor Jenkins protected John Morant from his foolishness, Taylor Jenkins was there. Taylor Jenkins took the blunt of the blame for John Morant's foolishness. You talk about a dog for life. Taylor Jenkins, John Morant should be thanking that man right now. That man took a chance on you, kept you on the team, said you are going to be special one day if you do X, Y, Z. He could have released you. He could have told the organization to release your ass. Who else is going to sign you out there? Who else is going to deal? What other team is going to deal with John Morant's foolishness? Taylor Jenkins dealt with all that. Taylor Jenkins dealt with all that. Taylor Jenkins would get a job elsewhere, whether it's Atlanta or somewhere else. It wasn't in Memphis because Memphis has no structure in their franchise. And it shows. It shows. But then again, I feel bad for Thomas Uluza from France. Like I'm pronouncing his name wrong. I'm sorry. I feel bad for him because he just started. And now you got to fight to not only keep your job, you got to fight to be an assistant next year. So I want to see what happens in this next few games. Can Memphis get it right? Number 4, Stephen A. versus LeBron. Now, they've been going off for weeks now. You know, LeBron did an hour podcast on Pat McAfee's show, which to me, I think he could have gone on a private podcast. He could have gone on someone else's private podcast and done it there instead of being aired for the whole world to see. Pat McAfee's nationwide. And so if he went on there and said all this BS stuff about Stephen A, it's kind of ridiculous how LeBron's taking this. It's also ridiculous how Stephen A approached it because Stephen A said if he would have came up to me, I would have punched him. I'm like, Stephen A, you're not punching anyone in 2025. You just signed a $100 million contract with ESPN for the rest of your life, basically, and you're talking about punching the greatest player, one of the greatest players of all time. You can't talk that way. No one's doing that in 2025. I know we're supposed to have a competitive edge. I know that all that stuff, but you're not punching the GOAT of the game. When he approaches you, you're not doing that in front of 20,000 people. Your reputation, you realize your reputation will be tarnished if you did that. You're not doing that in 2025. That's stupid. And I wish he never said that. Because that's crazy. That's crazy to hear that Stephen A is saying that. Said that. Did he apologize? Honestly, I hope he didn't. I hope he didn't apologize, because out of all these nations that we have gone through, guys, no one's apologizing for anything. Only the few that feel bad will apologize. But I don't think Stephen A feels bad. You shouldn't feel bad for saying those things. You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. You said it. You've been going on numerous channels to explain your point about what LeBron said to you and all this and that. It's not time to apologize. It's over. Y'all go your separate ways. LeBron go do his thing. Stephen A go do his thing. Both guys are millionaires. We're good. You're not going to fight. That's hood talk. No, we're not. You're not in the hood, first of all. Then my last point of the day, brawls in the NBA. The Pistons and Timberwolves brawled. The suspension came down today. So I'm going to read this. Isaiah Stewart got 2-game suspension. Who else got one? Marcus Sasser, Ron Holland, the young cat. Marcus Sasser, Ron Holland, Dante DiVincenzo, Nas Reed got 1-game suspension apiece. So, and then the coaches, Pablo Percioni and JB Bickerstaff, they didn't get anything. But they got ejected. And so to me, this is not good for the NBA. You don't ever want to start fighting in the NBA. You don't ever want to have a brawl in the NBA because no one's having that anymore. Everybody's kissing, loving, dovey, this and that. Meet me at the park, meet me here, meet me there. There's a lot of that in the NBA. I'm not saying punch the dude. I'm saying take the physicality to the next level. No one threw a punch. It was all pushes and shoves. You wish it never occurred in the stands. You wish that they would have done it on the court. You wish that the NBA will never promote this, or any players from the back in the day will promote this. And so I don't think it was just a soft fight to me. I just don't think it was great. It was great. It was great. It wasn't. It was a brawl, but it wasn't an altercation. Because an altercation would be have guys talking, posting up. You're not that guy. You make too much money to be that guy. You make too much money to be acting stupid like that. You make too much money. Way too much. To be stupid like that, no, you can't do that. So I don't want the NBA to the NBA will not promote that. The NHL will, football will, but the NBA won't. And I don't want this soft area. There's difference of physical play that you have to be smart of. You have to be you have to be aware of. All right, so it's just crazy. It's just ridiculous of how. It's just ridiculous of how. It's just ridiculous how the NBA. It's just ridiculous how, some guys that are not supposed to be there, like Isaiah Stewart, has to be there. He doesn't have to be there. He doesn't. He's not known for anything. Isaiah Stewart got a 2-game suspension. He's not. I said this a couple weeks ago. Isaiah Stewart should never be in the NBA. He should never be. He's not good for anything. What is he good for? What is he's good for those minutes for? The NBA is good for he's Isaiah Stewart is good for a brawl fight. He's not good for the NBA. He doesn't score 10. He doesn't average double digits a game. He's good because he wears a jersey. There's numerous players in his situation that shouldn't be in the NBA. And I wish somebody one day would point that out. Because this man doesn't have chill for days. Now, I was going to play a Haley Van Lith clip, but however, oh, can I? Okay. So, before we leave today, this is Haley Van Lith is a talented player. Very talented. I'm going to miss her presence in Fort Worth. I never got to see her in person. I wish I can see her in the WNBA. She'll be in the WNBA for sure. She has risen her stock. You take a team to the Elite Eight. We're not going to count LSU. You didn't take that team. You were part of that team, but you were part of that team. But you took TCU to Elite Eight, to numerous numbers, to numerous heights. No question her jersey should be retired. No question at all. But we will never see a player of that magnitude like TCU provided last night. Let's play a couple of clips of Haley Van Lith. Play them back to back, please.
He took me at face value, and he thanks me for coming to the program, but he took a risk on me. And he met me with full belief, and he had a vision of who he thought I could be. And at the beginning, he probably was convincing me that I could be that person. I wasn't necessarily in a place where I even knew who I was anymore. So he has just breathed life into me. And from a life perspective, he's taught me a lot of great lessons about, how to have healthy relationships and what it takes to have a healthy relationship and how much better life can be if you just let people see who you are. And that's hard for me. And so for me to feel comfortable and safe doing that with him, that took a lot of work on his part that he did not have to do. He could have told me to screw off when I was giving him problems. And so I'm forever grateful for him, and God put him in my life to transform it, and he certainly has done that.
Oh, next clip, please. Thank you.
Nothing I expected. It was hard. It was a lot of nights of being like, I feel like God has put this thing on my heart to be great, but it's not working out right now. And a lot of times I had to look at myself in the mirror and just be like, what do you want, Haley? Who are you? And I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for the fact that he gave me a hard journey, because I would not be the woman I am sitting up here without it. And so I really praise God for the struggle and the suffering. I praise him for the nights where, I didn't want to be alive anymore. I praise him for the nights that I was on medication because I couldn't sleep or eat. And it's painful to talk about it, but it's really how beautiful life is. So I'm sitting up here now with women that I love, and a coach that I love, and a team that I love, and we aren't even sad about losing. We're sad that we aren't going to see each other probably next week.
So you heard from Haley Van Lith. What a touching moment. Like I said, we'll never see this quality talent again. We'll never see this again. I will have a draft board next week to see where Haley goes. I don't think she's the second pick of this draft. I think it's somebody else. But however, I will put her in the first round because I know where she needs to go. And watching 5 years of that guard in my life, from Louisville to LSU to TCU, what a player. We'll probably see someone like that again, but it'll be a different name. But Haley Van Lith, her legend grows forever. Her legendary status will be up here. And so to take a team that had an open tryout last year, and then on top of it, go on the run that they went on, never thought that. I was thinking that, okay, maybe, March 20th, the season will be over. I never knew that March 31st at 8 o'clock at night or 8:30 at night, the season will be over for TCU. I never thought the city of Fort Worth will be all purple this season on the women's side. I never thought that Mark Campbell will take a team from its lowest heights to high heights. And the bad part is we don't know next year. We don't know. People say Final Four. People say national championship. It's the era of the transfer portal. Mark Campbell has hit it hard in the transfer portal, man. I did say Jason Burton was the best coach in the AAC. Mark Campbell was the best coach in the Big 12. The way he's able to galvanize, take these franchises to better heights than Jason Burton has is unbelievable. It will never happen again. But Jason Burton, you're on the clock now. You saw what Mark Campbell has done, how his approach was. Elite Eight when nobody else gave you a chance. This TCU team last night, when Sedona went out, they dropped the lead to 6, was under 3 minutes left. And I was like, okay, could TCU beat this? TCU pull this upset off? And I think the fatigue set in. I saw it. I was like, okay. When Haley missed that shot, I said, they're done. They're done. And I thank them for giving all they have because this is a great quality of seniors, man. We will never see this again. All right, guys. Thank you for listening and watching. I will have more WNBA draft stuff next week because next week we're going to recap the championship games. We're going to recap all the college basketball. We're going to dive into the running backs for the NFL draft that the Cowboys need. And also, let's talk about some WNBA, more draft stuff in the WNBA, where these players are going to fit at, and what the number one team that needs players the most. And also, we'll talk about some NBA stuff as well. All right, guys. Thank you for listening and watching my podcast. Make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcast at. Until next week, I'll see y'all later. It's Beyond the Game on Fishbowl Radio.
To the Jamie and Genty Show, broadcasting live each week on Tuesday at 12 p.m. from Fishbowl Studios. Log on to hear sports talk from basketball to football and view your feedback on the biggest sports news you want to talk about from around the world. So be sure to log on each week Tuesdays at 12 p.m. to catch the Jamie and Genty Show. Hope to see you soon
on Fishbowl Radio Network.
Jump in.